Everybody, it's Adam with TPM Media. Today is the 22nd of April 2024, and we hope that you and yours survived Songkran. Now, it was a wild Songkran. We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about both the good things and the bad things. We're also going to touch base on some of the big crime incidents, including, unfortunately, some shooting incidents that happened during Songkran, as well as events to look forward to that will be happening in the near future. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Akira Nightclub, which will be soft opening on the 2nd of May. They will also be having a special VIP free flow alcohol event from 10 p.m. until midnight. You can go to their website, which we'll put in the comments below, to register for that, as you'll need a wristband. But regardless, we hope to see you at their soft opening coming very soon. Now, let's kind of start real casually about Songkran 2024. Now, we understand that Songkran is a very polarizing event, and tourists and many of the young folks tend to really enjoy the festival, whereas many of the older expats, people that live here year-round, and people that work and have places to go all during the day and night generally don't enjoy Songkran that much, as it tends to, of course, tie up their regular daily rituals. That was much the case this year, but one of the biggest complaints that we actually heard this year was that the previous sundown, gun down, everybody stopped playing at roughly 6:30 p.m. so that people can change clothes and then go out to dinner. That didn't happen this year. Now, it did not happen last year either, but before COVID, it was a regular occurrence. Now, the city says that there's no law about stopping water play. And in fact, if you look at places like Bangkok and you look at Patong and Phuket, they've always played at night. It's been that way for a very long time. But of course, they also don't celebrate for 10 days like Pattaya basically did, that actually started from about April 9th all the way until the 19th. So that's part of it. So many people were complaining about the fact that there was plenty of nighttime play, especially around Walking Street and Soi 7. However, if you mostly stuck to the dark side, Naklua, most of Jomtien, it was not that big an issue. Now, that was one of the biggest complaints. What was one of the biggest successes? One of the biggest successes was the fact that tourism in Pattaya was, according to the Tourism Authority in Thailand, the best Songkran they've had since roughly 2019. However, that's Pattaya, and they said that hotel occupancy was almost completely full. Let's look at Jomtien. A lot of beach vendors in Jomtien, who of course may not be too aware of hotel occupancy rates, however, told our reporters that they felt that it was not that busy. Now, it was busy on the final day because we were in Jomtien on the 19th, but did they blame it on lack of tourists coming for Songkran or people not wanting to celebrate? Nope, you guessed it. What they actually blamed it on is the ongoing headaches about the beach vendors anyways, about the fact that Jomtien Beach Road remains one way for traffic. It's been that way since early March, and it was originally changed, according to Pattaya City, because of construction, which, at least as of press time while I'm doing this video, has still not begun. That being said, we've got some mixed opinions on the one-way Jomtien Beach Road. Some people hate it. Some people, myself included, actually like it because I walk the area all the time, and it makes it so easy to cross the road now. Of course, late at night, you still get people going both ways, but for the most part, people follow it now. I'd like to know what you think. Do you think the Jomtien one-way traffic should change back to the way it was before with two-way, or it should stay as it is now? Tell us in the comments and let us know what you think. Another big part of Songkran and a big problem this year, but quite frankly happens every year, was there were almost 24 reports of people having their valuables stolen, mostly by people keeping them in those waterproof pouches around their neck. What happened, or happens, is that a group of professional thieves, generally working in groups of 3 or 4, choose targets, yes, usually people who are quite intoxicated, and either take the bag entirely or cut the bag and take out valuables. Now, Songkran's already over, so I'm not going to give you any advice on how to protect your bag until next year. But unfortunately, a lot of people reported that they did lose large amounts of cash, phones, and even important documents and credit cards because of that. Now, what about major problems? Those were all minor problems. Unfortunately, there were some major problems. The biggest being Asada Heap, which we'll put in the comments with the actual article that took place, was unfortunately during a Songkran event, 4 Thai youth were shot. 1 person died, a 23-year-old Thai man, when an altercation began at a Thai event. No foreigners were present, and a Thai upset at another Thai started shooting. The youngest victim, just injured, not dead, was only 13 years old at this event. Now, of course, that got a lot of bad publicity in press. However, they did manage to arrest the prime suspect, who has reportedly admitted to the crime after the case. We had our issues here in Pattaya as well, though. There were at least 2 gun-related incidents that did not result in a shooting, but in both incidents resulted in somebody brandishing guns in public, both Thai on Thai, although one took place on Soi 7, in which I believe we have some footage that we can show, in which a young Thai man, only 18 years old, got mad at another group of Thais and took out 2 guns, scaring people in the area and causing people to run. Later turned out that the 2 guns were just BB guns, according to police, and he was also arrested and held responsible for the incident. Now, we've talked about Songkran enough. What's coming up and in the future? Besides, of course, again, cheap plug, the Akira soft opening. This week, you have the MedCan Festival. What's MedCan? Medical cannabis. That is taking place at Central Mall in Pattaya from the end of this week and over the weekend. According to organizers, it will be only to show the medical benefits of cannabis. And according to the organizers, there will be no pushing of recreational cannabis or anybody interested in recreational cannabis whatsoever at the event. We'll see. But regardless, if you're interested in cannabis and the medical benefits of it, you shouldn't miss it. This is the 3rd year in a row it will be taking place. Also taking place over this weekend and the end of this week will be the World Beach Korfball Championships on Jomtien Beach. You don't know what korfball is? Why don't you go and check it out? I'll leave that as a mystery for you. Now, coming up in May, for the first week of May, will be the popular, arguably probably the most popular food influencer and social media influencer for Thais in Pattaya. Sea Bear will be returning for the 3rd year in a row for her very popular food festival at Central Mall, starting in the first week of May. We'll be covering that as well, as that's always really popular for our readers. And she brings out a lot of very unique food vendors, not the stuff you see at every regular market, but some really unique and inspirational folks with both traditional and modern and some fusion dishes. Also coming up will be the Pattaya Festival, which is a celebration of everything Pattaya, because we know we haven't had enough festivals with Songkran just over. So we have Pattaya Festival. And then about a month-ish away in June will be, according to Pattaya City, the biggest LGBTQI Pride Month ever in Pattaya, with a month-long festival and celebration of LGBTQI Pride in Pattaya. And they also say they're going to be decorating the entire city so that everybody can show their pride. And that's going to leave me, speaking of pride, with our last story of the day, in which during Songkran, another incident that took place, in which a gentleman was just enjoying Songkran in the evening at a local bar here in Pattaya and having a drink, as you can see in the footage, which I believe we have, when all of a sudden a transgender woman came by and threw a bottle at the man, injuring him and scaring multiple patrons in the bar, causing them to scatter. However, the most interesting part of this is the fact that afterwards, the transgender person was arrested for assault, of course, as you would be for throwing a glass bottle and injuring somebody. But the transgender person said they had a reason for doing this. According to them, the person they threw the bottle at was a customer who had paid for their companionship in time, we'll leave it at that, and then had refused to pay. So in retaliation, decided to throw a bottle at them. Always something going on in Pattaya. As always, we thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to hear what you had to think about Songkran this year. What were your experiences? Did you stay at home? Did you flee the country? Did you participate? Did you have a good time or a bad time? You let us know. Until next week, see you guys soon. And for those of you who are happy Songkran's over, take care.